Wow. So I can see people are streaming in. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll give about 2 to 3 minutes just to, and we will begin. I see somebody has lifted their hand. Mhm.
Double recording, eh? Double recording. You can hear me, Andrew?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I think I had a bit of your local language. Very good. Let me get my headphones on. This will be good. I think we have a good amount of quorum. I think we'll begin. Huh?
Wonderful.
Let's just go for it. This computer. So welcome everyone to the AM Book Club. This is the webinar series. This is actually our 8th edition. I am your host, Andrew Mutua. Before we begin, I'd just like to bring to your attention a few housekeeping rules. Please ensure you mute your audio and your video just to avoid disruptions and distractions. I'll request you to make use of the chat box to, so give me a bit of echo coming in. So use the chat box to share your comments, your questions. Let us know where you're streaming in from. You can begin putting out what are your expectations for this event. And I think we'll address those at some point when we begin the Q&A session. So to begin, I'd just like to introduce those that are joining us for the first time. I'd like to take a moment and speak about the AM Book Club. So the AM Book Club is an online community of book lovers, people that like reading and continually growing themselves or self-improvement. And really the AM Book Club is built on these 3 key pillars: books, mindset, business. Books is the channel through which we get to continually self-educate ourselves. We continue growing ourselves and learning from others. I think our guest speaker once said, the shortcut to life is reading. And we'll be looking to, and we encourage those that would like to join the community. I'll be sharing links where you can be able to register as a member. And mindset, really everything that we are emanates from the mindsets that we have. The habits that we take on, the character that we develop, it's built on the mindset. And if you want a mindset that really will serve you in your life, books is one way to do that, because you get to learn, you get to connect with role models. So a lot of this, so we use this channel, this opportunity to develop ourselves in books. And some of the speakers that we bring on board teach us one or two techniques, tips, strategies that we can continually develop our professions, our careers, and businesses that we run. So I am the co-founder and executive director of Alternate Limited. Alternate is an ICT firm that we built about 7 years back. And its principal endeavor is really helping mid to large size organizations digitize their business operation as a way to enhance productivity and to be able to do more with less. And we do that by offering technological solutions to um, be able to achieve that endeavor. I have about 15 plus years in the ICT space. I've been started off working for an ISP, worked for hospitality business, and more lately for a non-profit before I took the plunge and went into business. I also happen to be a blogger. So if you go to my blog, andymutua.com, is where you see books that I have reviewed. Really, the blog itself is really built on that. Is really where I publish books that I have read, and you can learn more through that. To contact me, those are my contacts. You can reach me through those, my business and my blog, Alternate Limited, and Andrew, alternatelimited.com, andymutua.com. Good. And with that, I think we come to today's session. So I first got to know about Savo, which is the business that Leonard has built through, I think I learned about it late last year, through a gala event that I attended that was sponsored by Savo Real Estate Investment Company. And I remember when I saw the brochures, I found it to be quite an interesting proposition, the idea of investing in affordable homes as a way to attain financial independence. And I must say, after I saw that, it must have skipped my mind. And it was only lately when I saw Leonard presenting during Sober Sunday that I got to see the man behind Savo City. I think it was your wife, Emily, who actually did the presentation at the gala night. And actually, as I spoke to her when she was connecting me with you, she told me that was a seed that was planted, and that's why now it has come back now at a more point where I can now really take the next step. So it was through that I got to know about Savo, and then through the Sober Sunday when Leonard was one of the panelists. I was quite the message that he was speaking. This idea of optional poverty. I later went into your YouTube channel and I realized you guys run something you call Fire Fridays. And I was saying, no, I've got to have this guy come on to AM Book Club and tell us more about his story, about how we can get people, to attain financial independence. Because I think, if you think about everything in your life, money has to have a component there. I've said it before. Somebody once said that we live in an economic planet, and it is true. So we each need to get our money right. And once you do that, many other things will flow. So with that, I would like to introduce our speaker. His name is Leonard Mcharo. He is a certified architect. He's the founder and the chief architect of Savo Real Estate Investment Company. And we are happy to have you, Leonard. Karibu sana. Leonard, I think you're still muted.
Sorry, I was in a rush to speak. You can hear me now, I assume. Andrew, can you hear me? Somebody tell me yes.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thank you, Andrew, for this invite. It's a beautiful thing getting to talk to readers. Now I'm feeling a bit intimidated. In most forums, I'm the one who reads more than everyone else, but you guys already belong to a book club. That means I'm sure you're ahead of me in that game. But it's a real joy. My name is Leonard Mcharo. I think Andrew has said that, and I have the good fortune to have founded and run together with my wife and a wonderful team of people a company called Savo, Savo City. Now, Savo is a real estate investment company where we design, build, sell, and manage affordable, amazing apartments. That's what we do. But behind what we do is why we do what we do. Andrew, I think if I talk too long, I talk a lot. If I talk too long, please just show yourself and I don't know, pull your ear or something. Just give me a sign so that I don't overdo it.
Okay, good.
Um,
Thank you.
the the reason we do what we do, I think for me is the most exciting part. I'm an architect. I love architecture. I've done a few interesting buildings. For those of you who have seen Boma Hotel, for belonging to the Red Cross in South Sea, we have also done the Mihrab. That's near Yaya. It sort of curves at the end. I'm happy that I think the two tallest buildings around Yaya, I'm the one who designed them. But as I turned 40, as I was 39 going towards 40, I think it's usually a very critical time in everybody's life. And I began to be quite dissatisfied. I felt, okay, here we are doing this amazing work, but are we touching lives? The buildings that I have built, I can't go there. I cannot visit them. If I do, they'll wonder, who am I? But we want to do something that will touch people's lives. And to cut a long story short, I left the company I founded. I started Savo with a crazy bunch of guys who followed me, even though I was not sure exactly where we were going. And we tried six, seven, eight business models, which failed. But every time we failed forward. We kept failing forward. And you fail, you learn, you fail, you learn, you fail, you learn. Until they got to a place where one of the guys in the office said, look, Mcharo, you and your wife have achieved financial independence because you invested in real estate. Why can't we start a business that allows other people to do the same? And that's when I think we got our purpose. That's when we got our purpose to realize what was the purpose for our lives. My wife and I have really built our lives around the idea of financial independence, financial prudence, just financial planning, and that has been really central to our lives. Are we materialistic? No, but as Andrew rightly said, it's an economic planet, and if you have your money right, then other things seem to fall into place. And having your money right doesn't mean having a lot of it. It means aligning your purpose in life with how you spend, with how you earn, with what you spend on, and the methods used for earning. So this has become the driving force for Savo. Everything we do, everything we are, every product we make, every interaction we have with every stakeholder has to be completely aligned with this purpose. And the purpose is to enable investors achieve financial independence. Why is this important to us? I've probably told this story. Sorry, I've probably told this story many times before. My wife and I met when we were in college. Um, Best decision I ever made, I think, was marrying her. And the best fortune in my life is when she joined first year. And of all the classes, she decided to come to my class. Of all the desks, she decided to come and sit at my desk. And she was there studying CPAs. So I told her, I've heard of ex dividends and I've heard of come dividends. Fortunate that I got her come dividend. And when we met, Both of us had been through a glorious past. But at that point in time, both our families were really struggling. And we decided, because we decided we were going to get married fairly early after meeting, we decided this is where we are going. So we decided that where you are right now could be a matter of circumstances, but where you need to go is a matter of choice. So we decided to choose a life of financial independence. And we said we are going to invest. And we started investing when I was earning 15,000 shillings from the university. She was earning a little more. And we just kept going. We saved, took loans from Asako, invested it, got together partners, over time, paid for land, built a hostel slowly. So it was a 15-year journey. So we gave ourselves 15 years to be able to get to a place of financial independence. And what what is financial independence? I think it's important to define that term. Now, financial independence is having assets that generate for you sufficient monthly passive cash flow to meet your needs, your wants, and your desires. I need to repeat that. It has to be generation of monthly passive cash flow. So once you have sufficient monthly passive cash flow that is able to meet your needs, your wants, and your desires, then you are financially independent. Then when you're talking about FIRE, financial independence, retire early, once you are financially independent, you can retire at any time. And retirement does not mean, going to the beach and sitting and wasting time, or me coming to Sharks here and sitting and wasting time. No, no, no. Being retiring means you get to have options. You get to pursue your purpose. I'm in Sharks. I've been here for I think 3 weeks now. Yeah, and I'll be here for a little longer. Why? I'm not here just lazing around. I'm here doing something that is aligned with my purpose in life, is aligned with Savo's purpose, not a business trip that I'm on, but it's a giving trip, but completely aligned with our purpose. And this purpose of enabling people achieve financial independence, we realized we could take the investor, who are mostly the middle class, help them invest in our properties for them to move on. But we could also take the poor, young, talented, but unfortunate children, and school them for them to be able to get a good education, get a good job, and transition from poverty into a life of self-sufficiency. Because for us, financial independence is about dignity. There's no there's no honor in poverty, unfortunately. Poverty is only honorable when you live it by choice, like I do. I have, and this is not Savo. This is not me and my wife. This is me myself personally. Yeah, I live a life of optional poverty, and it's beautiful that way because there's option. But if, like, I'm assuming that if many of you guys are in the book club and you're reading, most of you are educated, most of you are well-to-do, most of you are moving on in life. If you don't take care of what you do with the earnings you get, the earnings you get must be treated as seed. And the salary can never, ever make you financially independent. Why? Because it's not your boss's responsibility to take care of your future. Your boss's responsibility is to ensure that you do your job today and do it right. Let me boast a bit. At Savo, we have a different kind of system. It's my responsibility to ensure that my guys in the office achieve financial independence, because we take the purpose and link it through and through. The Savorites, the people who work at Savo, the investors, the residents, and the ones we help in the community, whether they're children that we are schooling or other kinds of giving that we do, all that is geared towards financial independence. But ask yourself, if you had a look at your boss's job description, and I will dare you, try and get your boss's job description. See if it involves enabling you to achieve your financial independence. If it doesn't, then know that your salary cannot get you to that place. But you can use it as seed to invest it so that your investment can make you financial independence. Because money, money is a very, very interesting thing. If you are at this level, if you put money above you, then money becomes your master. And it's a terrible master. It'll drive you, you need to work for it 24/7. It's never satisfied. And it'll rule you forever. And the day your job ends, and I'm sure some of you have experienced job losses, the day your job ends, then you're gone. But if you put your money here, then money becomes your slave. And that is what it was created to be. It's a creation of man. It's a magical thing, but it's a creation of man. But it was designed to be a slave, and it's a wonderful slave. Money works 24/7, never falls sick, never takes leave, never asks for a raise, never argues with you. It just works. So if you take that salary and invest it, use it as a seed. It looks like you're wasting it. It looks like you're burying it. The same way you do with seed. You've taken a guinea of maize, and instead of eating it, you go and bury it in the ground. Give it time, tend it, ensure it rains. Don't plant your seed in barren ground. Don't plant your seed in places with no rain. Don't invest your money in shiny schemes that are going to make you losses. Don't invest your money with guys who are not reputable, people you have not searched and found out who they are. Put your money on good ground. Even the great teacher said some seed is planted on the roadside, the birds come and eat it. Some seed is planted among thorns, some seed is planted in a place with weeds, but some seed is planted on good ground. Once you invest your money in a good place, then it generates for you cash flow. There is a beauty about this journey of investing and this journey of going towards financial independence. Like every great journey, it happens in three ways. First, it happens in the mind. The day you decide, I'm on a journey to financial independence, immediately you make that decision, you are financial independence in your mind. You begin a process of rewiring because everything is in the mind. Everything is in the mind. That's why I think we're called Homo sapiens. Sometimes we forget. We pay attention to the habilis more than the sapiens. Once you begin to invest, your mind shifts. The way marketing has worked is or psychology. Let's say psychology, and marketers have taken advantage. Is I have a trigger. I have something that I do. Trigger leads to a routine, and I follow this routine so that I'm able to get a certain reward. So trigger, routine, reward. And in the case of money, remember when you're young, you do something nice, you're given a shilling, 5 shillings. Yeah. Immediately you get your 5 shillings, you run to the shop to buy sweets. So trigger is receiving money, routine is running to the shop to buy sweets, reward is getting the joy that the sweets give you, whether it is the sweetness or boasting to your friends or your neighbors or your brothers and sisters or whatever. Now, when you go to high school, you're given pocket money. If you're a boy, you go and buy bread, you feel good. Trigger, routine, reward. Once you get a job, you get your salary, you go and pay a militia. I'm going to be financial independence. You begin to wire that investment is not, might start, but it's not delayed gratification. Investing in and of itself makes you happy. So before you are, I invest money, I receive a salary, I receive money, I spend it, I am happy. Trigger, routine, reward. But immediately you start investing, you change. I receive money, I invest it, I am happy. So that's the first thing in the mind. Now, that joy of investing becomes addictive. as you're moving on. So as you learn to invest time and time again, then you realize I don't need 50 pairs of shoes. A shoe is a functional thing. Then you begin to get joy out of that. If you take it to the extreme, like I have, then you can get joy in optional poverty. Can I go to site? I can go to site and eat with my laborers. I eat how do they eat food of what? 50 bob, 2 people. Yeah, I can eat chapati madondo. I think 15 bob and 10 bob, something like that. And somehow it gives me some weird kind of pleasure. You don't have to take it to my extreme. Maybe I'm a bit weird. Yeah. But as you move on, you realize then you realize that you can make good decisions. So the second bit of financial independence is in the habits that you form. In the habits that you form. Remember, the power of habit. One of the books that maybe you might want to read. Willpower is too hard for you to stop yourself from investing, from spending every day. That you see a shoe and you have to fight. You see good food in a restaurant, you have to fight. Having to fight every day is too hard. But if you form a habit, then you don't have to fight your consumerism notions every day. It just comes naturally. So, number one, you change your mind, you rewire your mind. I get money, I invest, I am happy. Number two, it becomes a habit. You just keep investing and you continually getting satisfaction from the investments. Now, investment is a gift that keeps on giving. Unlike consumerism, where it's like the bottomless pit, really, and it wants more. Yeah, Solomon talks about a few things that want more, more, more. It's like the grave. The grave is never satisfied with death. This person dies, it wants more, it wants more. Same as consumerism. You go and spend, you buy good food. Tomorrow you still want good food. You're buying clothes. Tomorrow you want more clothes, and it keeps going like that. But if you change that, investments now gives you joy, and then it rewards you with returns. So first you preserve your capital. Two, you grow your capital. In time, you will have, because what happens is you have a salary and zero passive cash flow. But as you begin investing, your cash flow grows ever so slowly, ever so slowly, ever so slowly. Once it gets to the place where your passive cash flow is equals to your monthly needs, wants, and your desires, then you are now financially independent. That's the third stage of being financially independent, when you actually don't need to work. Now, the beauty with that is you take time to think more. I could leave my company, the company that I founded with blood, sweat, and tears, to start Savo. I could have the guts to do that. Why? My bills were taken care of. My rent was taken care of. My children's school fees was taken care of. Food was taken care of. So I could dream. I can now say I live a life of purpose. Why? Because I am financially independent. Andrew, I can talk forever. I think maybe let's open it up for guys to ask questions, and then I can have the talk and be more relevant.
Wow, thank you very much for that intro. It's great to learn about how you started. Um, as I wait for people to begin bringing in their question, I have one question that I would like to ask.
Yes, sir.
Um, looking at how far you guys have started, you had that first project that you've mentioned of you started off with a hostel.
The hostels, yes.
Yes, and this Savo journey to date is bringing you to about almost close to 2,000 units.
Yes.
Now, from my perspective, that is an audacious, big dream. How did you, and maybe you can speak on the power of thinking big, the power of ideas. How did you get that courage, be that brave to take on this audacious goal? I'm sure maybe if you were to share the vision, I don't know where you see Savo 5-10 years down the line. If today you're looking at close to 2,000 units, you've got projects in Rongai, Roysambu, and a host of other places. And I'd encourage people to later on go into the Savo website to see those investments. Talk about the thinking, how you got into, get that courage and the power of ideas.
Wonderful. I'll be a little controversial here. Um, Contrary to portrayal by media and movies, I think fear is a much more important friend than bravado. Let me not call it courage. Let me just call it bravado, where somebody just goes out and just does something. Boom. Yeah. I think fear, for me, I consider fear my closest friend, and failure. These are two friends that have worked with me and have been extremely, extremely faithful friends. They never let you down. Fear keeps you alive. I mean, can you imagine if I didn't fear fire, then you easily get burned. You didn't fear, you don't, you know, YOLO, you live only once. You can go out into life the way you want. I think that's dangerous. But if you have fear, it makes you a little cautious. It makes you um, have a little self-doubt, which I think is a good thing. Yeah. Again, I'll be a bit controversial. I'm anti motivational speaker kind of thing. I think it fills you with a lot of it pumps you up with so much energy. Then you forget the main thing and um you get addicted to that level of energy. But for us at Savo, first it was turning 40 and not knowing why I exist, and the questioning and the fear and just wondering, okay. One of my guys in the office said to me, can you imagine when your name is mentioned for the last time and then never again? It's a bit lonely. And to think that, well, 99.9999% of humanity, that's what happens. But I think that kind of self introspection makes you want to take a step. Failure, I mentioned that we tried about 6, 7, 8 business models that just didn't work out. But what happened is every time we fail, something else happens, something else happens, something else happens. Yeah. And many times I talk in these sessions, people say, here's the man behind the vision. Here is the vision bearer. Here is the brains behind stuff. Far from the truth. We just sat around a table and questioned and argued and disagreed and came up with ideas and tested them, and they failed and tried again and questioned. And this guy of the light bulb, Edison, he's tried 10,000 times. Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers, give it 10,000 hours. Now the 10,000 hours not only give you mastery in knowing what to do, but more importantly for me, you get to learn what not to do. Because I think most of us spend our time wasting time with the image, with the public perceptions, with the, I don't know how the thing looks. But if you try and fail and are always afraid, then you learn to really listen to the things that matter. So how did this thing grow? It grew around the table. There's something we call the relay in Savo. I do my bit, I give it to you. We're all competent, but we are better when we are working together. Look at the ant. The ant is a very small animal, but when they come together, an army of ants, they are master architects, master engineers, master planners, masters of transport systems, master manufacturers. I mean, they don't eat plants. They manufacture their food from plants. They tend other animals. When there's flooding, the whole ant colony becomes a boat and they're able to cross a river just by coming together. One ant on its own is not able. So maybe I'll speak a bit to leaders. Don't try to know it all. We have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth. So for me, who speaks too much, the art of listening has been one of the greatest things that I have learned to do. Yeah, the art of listening. Just listen, listen, listen. Then you are able to see clearly. So Savo has not been revolutionary. Yes, we have done 2,000 units in barely 3 years, but it's not the revolution that excites us. It's the evolution. It's the everyday. It's the step by step. It's what happens on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday at 3 o'clock and on Thursday. It is the small things. There are no aha moments. There are no eureka moments. Yes, maybe when I write a book, I might condense 5 years or 10 years and say there was this moment. It was slow. Even the point I said when somebody said that my wife and I had been doing this business for a long time and we should make it our business. I think it's a conversation that comes. Somebody mentions it, you don't quite believe it. Someone else mentions it, you try it. So it's in that way. Where do I see Savo come in the next 5 years? I will not talk about results because, to be honest, I don't know. In the results, in what is seen, what is seen are the buildings. I will talk about internally. For me, I would like Savo to be more focused on the purpose, for the Savorites to work together in this relay, for us to just be honest, because that is one thing that is lacking. One beautiful thing about Kenyans is that we are go-getters. We work and work and worked. Yeah. If I look at our other East African friends, I think we are more hardworking than the rest of them. But that comes also with wanting things and wanting them now, and then being not even a bit, being very dishonest. I believe that if you run a simple, clean, straightforward business, um, the rewards are much higher. Not just that you have peace of mind, you actually get richer by just running a clean business. So what I see in 5 years is a company that is even more radically focused on the purpose to enable others achieve financial independence more than we are today. Yeah.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Yeah, definitely these are radical ideas. Many a times we are focused on outcomes, but not so much the process. It is good
Yes.
to really illuminate through your model, through your, your example, that it's really the day to day, the step by step, that really creates this. So this is just a manifestation of what you've been working on for several years down the line, and I really appreciate that. We are now getting a lot of questions coming in. I can see. So there's a question from Savo that has come through YouTube from Gitao. You have a brilliant model with Savo and Skywalk, and your other completed projects. Do you plan to list on the NSC? Is it one of your 3 to 5 year goals? Maybe you can answer that. Thank you,
Um,
Gitao.
Not yet. I think people who do a startup and then it quickly it gains traction and then are quickly thinking of listing. Sometimes they're not too honest. Maybe they don't believe in the value of the business model, so they would like to sort of cash in quickly. Look at the real estate companies that have threatened to list, or they have gone all out and saying within the next 2 years we are going to list. From the outright scams to the badly managed companies to others that are trying but struggling. I think many times, if you really check, you'll find some level of dishonesty behind that. I'm not a financial guru, my wife is, but I've read a bit about how Wall Street works. And a lot of these things, you do it to raise the capital. But I keep asking myself every time I want to raise capital, or every time somebody comes to us and tells us, okay, I can give you guys more capital, I have to ask why. Yeah, there's another book called Start with Why. I'm not very, I thanks Andrew that when I mentioned the Power of Habit, you wrote Charles Duhigg. Thank you very much. Start with Why, Cynic. Yeah. Um, why do I need to list in the stock exchange? So right now it's not in our plan, but when the time is right, if listing on the stock exchange helps us to achieve our purpose more, then we will. If I don't know, getting into some partnership with some big Chinese whatever helps us achieve our purpose, then we will. If working with I don't know whichever body, if that helps us to achieve our purpose, then we will. But before we are sure that that is what that action will entrench us more in our purpose, then we will not, because our decision making in Savo, by the way, is extremely simple. Does it increase our purpose? If the answer is yes, we do it. If the answer is no, we don't. Even if it is difficult, we do whatever it takes to get it done. Even if it is lucrative, if it's not according to our purpose, then we just let it go. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great answer. Thank you very much. I think the second one is also maybe related, and maybe you can just mention a little bit about it. Guitar is also again asking, your model is right up the government's alley, the idea of affordable housing. Do you plan to invite local capital to speed up delivery of affordable homes? I presume
Mhm.
this is also talking about you plan to partner with government or something.
Mhm.
So maybe you can
Okay.
come to that.
One, working with government is something that I personally would be very, very hesitant to do. If it comes to a place, if it comes a time when we are influential enough as a company to help government, then we will. If we are working with government to cash in, we will not. Why do I say that? With all humility, if we are going in for the cashing in, we'll be trapped by all the other things that government officials would like to do, which we do not want. And I will not say what those things are. And it's not all of them, but some of them. We don't get into that temptation. But it comes to a time where we're influential enough. We can sway the population sufficiently for government, and we think you guys need to be involved in this because you can help this cause, then we'll be good citizens, but not to cash in on the opportunity, because we really don't want to go into, so we don't like to ask for favors. We don't know any big government people, so we something we really would like to be very hesitant to do. And I learned this from people like Jack Ma, who said, you know what, I think the times he worked with government is when government requires his network to get something done or to do some big payments. But without that, then he doesn't do that too much. At least that's what he says in the public domains. So, and in terms of competition, um, we think we have not understood the whatever government is trying to do. We have read the documents, we have studied them thoroughly. We haven't understood the economic engine behind that. So we will let them do what they're doing. We will keep doing what we're doing. I think even if government did their bit and we did our bit, we think there's sufficient. There's enough for all of us. In fact, even if 20 other people came to do this, there's too much shortage of high quality, affordable investments, high quality, affordable residences for the young people. There's too much demand. So I think we are okay to run this with everyone else. Yeah, it's a bit of a long answer, but I hope it sort of does that.
Yeah, that's quite clear. Yeah, I know with government, you have to be very careful. So thank you. I see Elizabeth has raised her hand, and I'll come to her shortly. But there's a question that has come through from Dan Awendo.
Mhm.
Thank you, Dan, for your question. And Dan is asking, one is congratulating you. Well done for the achievements that you've done to date.
Thank
His
you.
question is, I'm curious about how you funded how you funded the project. Developing
Mhm.
2,000 units over a 3-year period is not a small deal.
Mhm.
Financing this number of units, I believe, is even more daunting. Please
Mhm.
enlighten on how you financed, how you did it all. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. The book Running Lean. Anybody who would like to become an entrepreneur, I suggest you read the book Running Lean by Ash Moria, something like that. I think Ash Moria, if I'm not wrong. And Running Lean introduces you to a concept called the Lean Canvas. And the whole Lean philosophy is a philosophy that people like Toyota have really mastered that philosophy. And Running Lean is basically iterating from plan A to a plan that works before running out of resources. Iterate from plan A to a plan that works before running out of resources. Now, one thing you'll realize from the Lean philosophy is your product is not your product. Your business model is your product. Let me repeat that again. It doesn't matter what you sell. So you'll see us selling houses, you'll think other people are selling houses. in the minds of the public, we are doing the same thing. No, your product is not your product. Your business model is your business model. Now, the lean canvas is your business model canvas. It's your business model. And what does it talk about? It talks about what to focus on. It talks about focusing on the customer. I'm answering your question. I know I used to be a lecturer, by the way. So you ask me a question, I give you a thesis. Yeah. It talks about your customer. Who is your customer? Once you have understood your customer, serve your customer and your customer only. Forget everyone else. Number two, what is the problem you are solving? Actually, the other way. What problem can you solve better than anyone else? Number two, who is your customer? Be very clear. And sometimes don't serve everybody. Even Facebook started by serving the Harvard College student, period. Harvard College student. Right now, everybody and their grandmother is on Facebook, but it only started that small. So start there. Customer, problem, unique value proposition. That's number three. Once you've done that, then you come to number four, which is your solution. And then number five, your unfair advantage. If you're doing something good, everybody will want to copy it. We are doing something good. Everybody and their grandmother is going to start copying what we are doing now. But we have a unique value proposition. We have an unfair advantage. I don't believe in playing in a level playing field. No. You always want your playing field to be like this. Let the competition score upwards, you score downwards. You remember when you were kids and you used to play football in the estate, you always want to be the team scoring down. Then you understand your revenue streams and your cost structure and your channels and all those things. Somehow, capital is never mentioned in the business model. And I found that extremely curious. Because what is the function of getting a financier? To get cash. And what does the customer bring? Cash. What does the bank bring? Cash. So if you focus on the customer and you have the right business model and you build a good name, Solomon in the book of Proverbs, it's another book I would recommend highly, the book of Proverbs by Solomon, among others. Yeah, he says a good name is more precious than rubies, is better than gold, is better than silver. So if you have a good, like our model works very simply, you have a good reputation, people are happy, we have a good reputation, we don't borrow. That means we're able to bring our prices low. So the amount of time and interest and stress I would have gone through by getting a bank loan or a financier, I translate all that and give value to my customer. And if I've kept my name clean, I've kept the name of Savo clean. And that is why for me, if you work for Savo, you lose us money, I will forgive you. You lose us reputation, you go that day. Even if you take me to court, it doesn't matter. You go that very day. Yeah. So because a good name is worth so much. So we are able to take all that and give that advantage to the customer. Then the customer is happy to pay pole pole as we construct. So that is how we fund our projects from customer money. And then when we make a profit from a previous project, remember I live a life of optional poverty. For me, that's part of the purpose. It's not just something, I'm not denying myself. I'm growing my business by living a simple life. So I don't need cash for myself. I put all the money back. Now remember, a business is not there to feed you and to finance your bad manners, so to speak. A business is there to enable you achieve a purpose that is bigger than you. And if you have that mindset, look at Jeff Bezos. The business did not make a profit for a long time. Why? He was just plowing back every penny. Every penny was just going back. And he told his investors, don't expect a profit. Don't expect dividends from me from the next, 10, 15 years. I will not give you. Why? Every penny is going back. That is how we're able to finance this thing. So instead of me going to buy big cars and going on holidays and what have you, no. All the money just goes back. That's how we finance
Amazing. Thank you very much, Mcharo, for that. We've got a comment here from Simon Kaba. He says, I do admire how Savo is doing this thing. Architect Mcharo is a smart guy. God bless you, sir. The faith at the workplace is admirable. You're an inspiration.
Thank
I
you.
guess that
Thank
goes
you.
for many. So thank you very much. As I wait for more questions, I have a question of my own.
Mhm,
I mean, this idea of purpose, you've
mhm,
you've really raised it throughout your conversation today.
mhm, mhm,
Um, you said when you are trying to identify why
mhm,
you do what you do, it
mhm,
was one seeing how you can align your business goal with your purpose. Now, my question is one, how did you identify your purpose?
mhm,
Uh, and why is this idea of purpose so central
mhm.
to everything that we do?
Okay. Um, if I forget, it's a two-part question. If I forget one, please remind me. How did we identify our purpose? Trial and error. Trial and error. I think when it comes to big things like purpose, people think um, it's a goal, it's an ambition, it's something I set out to do. But I like to turn it and say it needs to be an understanding. Don't I try, or at least we try at Savo to avoid having big lofty goals. We just try to understand the situation the way it is. I mean, I look at things like bees. One person will go into a place, walk near a beehive, and they'll do something, and a lot of bees can attack them. Another person will walk by the same beehive, and the bees will not attack him. Why? One person understands the psychology of bees, the other one doesn't. Yeah, we're able to tame animals, tame horses, the matadors are able to fight with, I mean, play around with those very the bulls. Why? They understand the psychology. We're able to beat gravity by flying. We are here talking to each other, and, and we are so far apart. Why? It's about understanding. So the way we have learned to arrive at purpose is we learned a lot from after many books of trial and error. We learned a lot from Jim Collins. He's good to great. He talks of the concept of the hedgehog concept, right? And he asks, what are you passionate about? More critically, what ignites your passion? Because if you're going to go ahead in life, you need to be someone with a lot of passion. But what is this thing that when it happens, it makes you passionate? You're on fire. What is that thing? And passion, if you look at the root cause, the in the definition, where that word comes from, it's suffering. For those who have watched the movie The Passion of the Christ, it is suffering. Sili silali kwa ajili yako. That is passion. What is this thing that you'll do for free? What is this thing that you'll do even if it costs you? That's passion. Number two, what can you be the best at in the world? I mean, the world is huge. Kenya, Nigeria, Kuala Lumpur, Ouagadougou, Rio de Janeiro, I mean, all these, the world, 8 billion. What is this thing that you could be best at in the world? What is this thing that you are genetically encoded for? It just comes naturally to you. And sometimes that thing could be very surprising. Look at Diego. You guys know Diego, the javelin guy. Kenya has no. He's from the Rift Valley, but he's not tall and lean. He's a big guy. So he knew, I'm from the Rift Valley. I love athletics, but I can't run like the other guys. The other guys are lean and thin. Kenya has no history of javelin. It has no infrastructure for javelin. It has no coaching facilities. But he understood that he just had something. It was very natural for him. And he knew he could be the best in the world at it. Silver medalist, world champion, top of the world. He's up there with the Finns. Yeah. Number three, what is the economic engine? What is this one thing that if you did very well, you can develop your profits, you can grow your profits? Once you have understood these things, and you can't make this thing up, you can't force it, you just need to understand it. Once you have understood it, then you act in that space, the thing that you're passionate about, you could be best at in the world, and it drives your profits. That is purpose. Make that your purpose. And it takes long. It took us long. Yeah. Remember, I was starting Savo when I was turning 40. I was not 40, I was actually 41 when I was starting Savo. So it's easier when the thing comes. But I had been trying to understand purpose all my life. Now, why is purpose important? Every great leader had a purpose. Some great leaders I admire. Jesus said, I came to die. that's the guy's purpose. I came to die so the rest of you can go to heaven. That's his purpose. So once you have identified that, then decision making becomes easy. Everything is simple. Yes, no. Yes. Remember, I said that willpower is too hard. But once you have purpose, purpose makes habit easy. Purpose becomes the unmoving, the North Star. If it's in the solar system, the sun, everything else is a planet. Your strategies will change, your business models will change, your tactics will change, your responses to things will change. Corona will come, throw you off guard, that will change. But if you have a purpose that is real, that doesn't change. Yeah. People say change, the only constant thing is change, but that's not entirely true. The only constant thing should be change and the unmoving core, which is at the center of your core. The white hot why. Somebody called it the white hot why. If you look at a bright fire, right in the center of that fire is white. That place, that is what you need to focus on. And for us, for me, it just makes my life easy. I don't have to impress anybody. I just need to impress purpose. Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you very much. So purpose is your unmoving core, your North Star, and that sort of helps you in every decision that you make. And identifying it is not a one-off thing, I guess, right?
Exactly.
It's a process. It's like you're unraveling a gift.
That's why I love failure, because it teaches you how to get there. You try it, you fail, you believe it is, then after a while things are inconsistent. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's a follow-up question from Dana Wendo here. He's saying, do you borrow to buy the land or do you joint venture with the landowners?
We don't borrow for anything. We never borrow at all. We have seen what borrowing has done to people, to our families, to businesses. Solomon, I have said, let's read Proverbs. Solomon says the borrower will always be a slave of the lender. So we don't borrow at all. Let me talk a little about debt. I know on Friday, Fire Friday, Emily is going to talk about debt in great detail, but debt is a dangerous thing. Number one, it gives you false confidence. You believe you can do more than you actually can. That's not your money. That's not customer money. That's some other guy's money, and the bank gets paid regardless. They don't care about the success of your business. They will get paid anyway. Yeah. So it gives us false sense of confidence. Number two, it makes you indisciplined. Instead of focusing to look for the solutions, you believe I can go and borrow. Number three, it's addictive. It's like heroin. I've never tried it, but you try it once, it works, you feel good. Tomorrow you want more, another day you want more, and you get hooked. Then number four, then there's interest. There's interest. Why do you want to pay more? There's interest. Number five, he who pays the piper calls the tune. So if you're receiving whoever you're receiving your money from, that is your Lord and King. When you're studying Proverbs, do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings, he will serve before kings, and he will not serve before men of low rank. And my son, my 19-year-old son is 19 going on 57, very wise guy. He interpreted that, says, can we work so that we're able to stand before our customers who value us? Because those are our kings. Right now, every penny we have as Savo, we get from our investors. When I with an investor, me, I tremble. Why? This is the person who makes me financier. Some guy coming from Europe in a suit. I would tremble before that guy. I don't want that man, Let me stand before this person and tremble because my money comes from him. So the only people I serve for me is the customer and God, no one else. And that's why we don't borrow, Bonadan. At the beginning, we did joint ventures, and we still do. But more and more now we are buying our own land, like Skywalk. Skywalk is our own land, so that one is just everything is owned by Savo. Yeah, yeah. But again, with joint ventures, even when you're buying from people who have done joint ventures, people have done it wrong. You try to get into a joint venture, you are trying to screw the landowner, you're trying to take advantage of them. It doesn't work. It always leads to bad things. So what we did with our joint ventures, we were very picky. I think for every 50, 60 people who came to us, we accepted one. Why? You come, we tell you, okay, in this area, first of all, we like it or we don't like it. Very simple. And what makes us choose the area? What makes us choose the land? Okay, whether we are buying it or getting into a joint venture, what makes us choose the land? Are the units around there always full? The units that have already been built, are they always full? And number two, is the rent high? We don't like empty units. We don't like low rents. We like high rents and we like full units. If it meets those two things, then we are saying we are good to go. So number one, tick. Number two, as the landowner, this is what we're going to give you. We have taken Nairobi and Kiambu, we have zoned it. And the areas, if you're in this area, you get this percentage. You're in this area, you get this percentage. You like it, we move on to the stage number three. You don't like it, we shake hands, drink tea, and say goodbye. So we don't try to bembelezana. If we try to cajole each other too much at the beginning, we will fight at the end. So I like to disagree with someone upfront, shake hands, no love lost. But the few that we have gone with, we have gone all the way to the very end. Yeah.
Wow, some great questions coming through. Thank you again, Leonard, for that response. I mean, it's amazing if you've been able to really execute all these projects debt free. I mean, it just shows what is possible. And I think probably sometimes our world views are very confined that you can only do this
Yes, yes.
using either debt or going through a specific path. But
Yeah,
you show that it's possible to do it
yeah,
in
yeah,
other
yeah.
ways.
Yeah. Sorry,
Um,
and just to pick on that point a little.
yes.
You see, the people who control our mindsets, those are the masters. So a lot of the financial information that we have as citizens, who peddles that information? It's the banks, it's the financiers, it's the venture capitalists, it's the hedge funds. Of course, it's in their interest to spin the story in a way that makes them useful. Yeah, but completely, totally not useful. Yeah, they are not required. I mean, look at venture capitalism. When did it start? In the 70s? But before then, people ran businesses without venture capitalism. So let's also be careful where, and that's why I love what you guys are doing. You read books, because in the reading of books, I can hang out with Moses, I can hang out with the Abraham Lincoln, I can hang out with Mahatma Gandhi. I don't have to listen to CNBC news every day to see what's going on, because this guy is spinning a story. Books give you the advantage of, I think, being sober and not being too jumpy. Yeah, sorry, I had to sort of dandy on that point.
Yeah, I think that's a very relevant point. As you say, a lot of our information sources that eventually define the beliefs and the mindsets that we adopt are quite
Mm,
false. And I think if we open ourselves to other sources, we can see it's possible in other ways. So
mm,
thank you very much. Now, there are two questions that have come. I'm very cognizant about time. We have now just hit 7:34. We're well past the time that we define. Now, I would like to borrow a few more minutes of Leonard, as I can see the questions are coming. I don't know if you guys want to leave now. Those that wish to leave, you're free to leave at your own pleasure. Those who wish for us to extend a little more, 10 to 15 more minutes, um, just give me a thumbs up if you're okay with that, as we tackle these two questions that I've come through. From LVA, um, what makes some there are multiple here
So,
actually.
so,
You
so
have plans to expand
I think I lost you there. I
because
lost you
you're
there.
talking about Nairobi and its environs. Hello, can you hear me? I saw my internet fluctuated a little bit. Hear me, Leonard?
Now I can hear. Please repeat. Please repeat.
Yeah, let me repeat the questions.
Okay.
So I also said, if you wish us to continue for 10, 15 minutes, give me a thumbs up as we respond to these questions that have come through. So Kelvin K is asking, what makes Savo tick? Do you have plans to expand to other towns? And would you consider investing in on-compound homes, instead of apartments?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe as you respond to that, I'll probably tie in with another one. How did you come up to the idea of this model that you have in terms of the sizes? Most of your homes are mostly either studios, one-bedroom apartments. Actually, you have very few two-bedroom apartments. You're predominantly within that studio to one-bedroom apartment. What led you to make that decision? And as you respond to this question of why did you opt not for apartment? Why are you looking to? Could you consider doing on compound homes? Are you looking to
Other
expand
towns.
beyond Nairobi and its environs? And what makes Savo tick? What is the sort of the unique proposition, or what differentiates Savo from the masses?
Okay.
Then I'll come
What
to
makes
Kelvin.
Savo tick is the purpose. Okay, sorry, it sounds.
Going back again, I think we should have called this event the purpose, the purpose
yeah,
webinar.
I really, really wish I had a more interesting answer, but that's the truth. I think if you ask anybody, even the Ochi, you come there. In fact, I dare you, anytime you are in one of our, you come to Coral Bells, just come there, you find Juma at the gate, ask him, mnafanya nini hapa? He will tell you, sisi hapa ni watu wa financial independence. That's what makes us tick. And we are inculcating this thing from the founders to the cleaners to the mtu wa mjengo. If you listen to a mtu wa mjengo talk, they will tell you about financial independence. Hata kama yeye ni mlevi, anavuta bangi, anafanya nini, they'll tell you about financial independence. That's what makes us tick. Why the size? I will refer you to a guy called Clayton Christensen. Clayton, I think, is a Harvard professor. He wrote a book called The Innovator's Dilemma. He's really big on innovation and disruption. And he says, disruption, you make things that are simpler and cheaper. Look at the mainframe computer, right? Big things could only be afforded by governments and universities and big corporations, right? $2 million to make one, to sell one. The margin was $1 million. And then come these young upstarts, Steve Jobs and Gates. PC. Oops, you've moved from $2 million to $2,000. Yeah. So
Leonard,
the guy who's
we
making.
lost you?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. So just begin again from the innovator's dilemma.
Okay, wonderful. So I was giving an example of the computing. The mainframe computer, $2 million. The margin on that was, I think, about $1 million. $1 million, $1.2 million, right? Who could afford that? Governments, universities, big corporations. And then the upstarts come in the 70s, the hippies, and Jobs and his friends come up with the PC. Yeah. And the computer is now $2,000. Margin $1,000. So the guy who's making the mainframe computer is asking themselves, okay, why do I want to sell 1,000 products for me to make the margin that I would have made by selling only one product. So they refuse to come to the PC and remain at the mainframe computer. But if they stay there long enough, they are wiped out, right? And then come the 90s, 2000s, the smartphone, $200. Oops, margin $100 or less. The guys are stuck on the PC. So then these new guys come and take over mobile. You see, like Microsoft. Microsoft missed on the mobile movement and they lost a lot. Yeah. So, but you have moved something that could only be afforded by government and made it in such a way that everybody can afford it. I remember when I was in the university, a guy that mobile phones were just coming into Kenya. Safaricom, the other one, Kensel, was just there. And some guy told me, hey, Bona, in Nigeria, the library is written, please switch off your mobile phone. And even Mama Mboge in the whatever, they have mobile phones. I told them, Kwenda huko, that's a lie. But okay, it looks like I'd not seen enough. Yeah, but now everybody can afford this thing. So we believe in the power of small. Make it small, make it affordable. Instead of someone needing to buy a home for 20, 30 million shillings or 7 million shillings, why can't we make them pay 27,000 shillings per month? 27,000 shillings per month is disruptive. That is salon money. That is M-Pesa money. That is Naivasha weekend money. That's Friday night money. Yeah. So we are now moving from competing with real estate. We are now moving to competing with simple everyday things. One of our great investors, a brother-in-law of mine, a pastor, this guy, he just sends 1,000 shillings, 10,000 shillings, 5,000 shillings, whatever he gets, he sends. And he's now in his third house, fourth house, third house. Yeah, just by spending. So that for me is disruptive. But a few of my friends who are developers told me, hey, Bona, if 1.5, itafika lini milioni kumi. Yeah, it just looks so much better. And then if you just study the demographics, more than half the population is between 19 and 34. Where do these people live? They live in places that are not well thought through, not well designed. They have modern jobs, modern cars, modern phones, there's modern computers, they are modern people, but the houses they live in are not very modern. Okay, why can't we just create something for them that they can afford? And you remember, the cost of cement is the same, whether you're building a good building or a bad building. The cost of steel is the same. The cost of stone is the same. The cost of labor is the same. The only difference is what happens between the years, between a good building and a bad building. So that's why we are focusing on the area we are focusing on. We believe it's disruptive when it comes to the investors' side, and it fulfills a real need when it comes to the people who are living there. Not yet for the on compound. Not yet. It does not tally with our purpose. Not yet for other towns until we find a place where houses can be full and rent can be high. Once we get those places, then we'll move in. Will you move to other countries? I mean, will you move to other counties within the nation? We don't know. Or will you move to other countries, maybe the capital cities of neighboring countries? Also, we don't know. But we will just keep reading the situation as it goes. Remember, the only thing that doesn't change is the purpose. Everything else is fair game. Yeah.
Great stuff. So there's a question from Kelvin about one, he appreciates the model that you guys use. It says great model, debt free. So he's asking, do you also go for local skills material, promote local? So that idea of local seems to resonate a lot with him. How do you guys work?
Everything we do, 100% of stuff we do is done by local people, mostly labor we have trained ourselves. So we don't hire contractors, we just do everything ourselves. All the materials we do, we buy it locally. It's maybe sad. I think the government needs to help or enable people like us who believe in this country. Build Kenya, buy Kenya, literally. Spend everything here to push us. we think if foreigners came, they would get better tax rebates than we do. But for us, labor is local, materials are local, everything, nothing sophisticated. We do not use any high tech. Everything is done by normal stuff. We have done our math. We have done our due diligence. It's cheaper to go to China and import all these things ready-made and bring them here. But we think we are going to cut our workforce by over 70%. And we believe we have a responsibility to build the guys here. But it's now government policy and our purpose are now at loggerheads. If we could be incentivized, we want to stay here. My heart is in Kenya. Everything, our purpose is centered around here. It's just I don't understand why it is that I can go, I don't know, halfway around the world, import something, bring it here, and it is cheaper than the thing that I can buy from here. But we're still here. We are still here. We are still faithful to this country. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I always recommend that also. That this idea of buy and build Kenya and truly helping, I think, and I'll just take a minute on this because I've been studying a little bit about globalization and globalism. And I think if you look at it both on a small scale level and a macro level, it's not beneficial in the long term. It might be costly now, but you can imagine how many people that would probably you're enriching work here, that kind of a thing, instead of this idea of getting everything from China. And really, we need to call our government to be Kenya first in their approach. So that's something I'm beginning to be very passionate about. So I'm happy that you brought it out quite strongly. There's a question here from Charlotte.
So sorry, before the question, there's a book called Capital in the 21st Century. I forget the name of the author, some French guy.
Okay, I'll get it.
Yeah, and it talks about, again, the fallacy of getting capital from outside the nation. For me, I also believe in local labor. I also believe in local capital. Yeah, once you get capital from outside, the rewards also go back. Yeah, the thing right now with Africa, we seem like we're developing, but look, when a road is done, you have Chinese trucks, Chinese foremen, Chinese everything. What do we remain with other than the road?
Yeah. Consumers.
But if everything came from here, and those guys are clever, they are giving us the funds, so the cost of capital is they benefit. All those things goes back to them. So we need to realize that we need to drive. And I think that book, anybody who loves to read, or anybody who is interested in public policy, public financial policy, you need to read that book. Yeah, Capital in the 21st Century. Capital is not, it used to be a scarce resource. Guys, it is not. Capital is in plenty. People, there's an oversupply of capital. So for those guys who are here, you're guys of the book club, and they want to start business, and you get some guy who has come from America or Europe trying to bring capital, you don't need it. You just need a good business model. And you don't need to be a genius to develop a good business. You just need to be a bit patient, do a little reading, then read some more, then read a little more, and have a team of guys around you and just discuss. And have the customer and the customer only. Capital is not a thing that you need to import. It's a fallacy that you need it. You don't. Yeah. Sorry. I get a bit passionate about some of these things.
No, man. This is good, man. So the question here is from Charlotte, and Charlotte is asking, thank you very much, Charlotte, for your question. And thank you, Kelvin Kiema, who asked about using local materials and local resources. Charlotte is asking, Savo investments only open to citizens of Kenya, or is it open to all with an interest to invest?
It's open to all
alluded to that.
Yeah, it's open to everyone. The only thing they need is a PIN, which our lawyers will help them get. So if it's a foreign national, we'll get them a KRA PIN, and they can invest. So that's not a problem at all.
Great. I think we've gone well over time at this point, but this is quite a stimulating topic. Leonard, I hope we can call you to come back again
By all means,
so,
my friend.
yeah,
I love to talk. So remember the things you can do for free. I love to talk. So yes, when there's an opportunity to talk, I get to express myself. So thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
And I really thank you for your words of wisdom, sharing your story, how you came about, on this Savo journey, and we wish you all Godspeed in your endeavor. We are happy and we are ready to become part of this Savorites.
all right.
Uh,
Yes, wonderful.
is and it's quite an amazing thing, and I really commend you for this effort that you're doing and being a great moral model. So,
Thank you.
um, everyone, I've just posted a feedback form. If you could kindly take a minute or so, tell us how did you find the session? Are there recommendations of other speakers that you wish we should feature on this webinar series? Are there topics that we should consider to host and have them presented in the webinar series? Give us those ideas. Just take a minute, answer those two questions on the feedback form, and if you wish to join the AM Book Club webinar community, I've also posted a link there. We'll be sharing a lot of our newsletters, the book list that we are going through this year, and a host of other things. And you get to meet with these great speakers and thought leaders. So once again, I think the book recommendations went over the quota that you always ask our speakers. I think you've given us, and there's actually
I,
one more that I need to post.
I believe reading is a shortcut to life. One more, if you'll allow me. Tao Te Ching.
Yes.
For those who can stand the paradoxes, Tao Te Ching. If you get to understand it, it will change your life. You will laugh at it the first time, but
Yes.
2-3 times you will get it. Yeah, by Lao Tse.
Lao Tse. So Tao Te Ching, please get that, read those books, put this on your list. You don't have to read them immediately. Just put them
Yes, yes.
somewhere on your plan that you're going to get them. Somebody is asking, how do I get to be part of the Savo team? I'm greatly interested in real estate.
Wonderful.
Maybe you can just spend a moment and tell us how somebody can become a Savorite.
Wonderful. I think as an investor, it's easy. I'm sure Sally is commenting and she's leaving her address there. For anyone who can write the number, I have the number here: 0768 187 154. That's 0768 187 154. That's Sally. So you can become a Savorite as an investor. That's one way. Number two, you could become a Savorite by living in our residences, and we have them at Coral Bells, Embakasi, Savo Studios. We've just started a new one it's called the Savo Studios in Embakasi, Rongai. So very soon, Roysambu is coming up. That's another way. Another way to become a Savorite is to come and work with us. And I think if you just DM Sam, since Sam is Ukotu online, I am sure, he will tell you how. It's difficult to get to work with us. The interview process lasts a year. The internship lasts a year. But I tell you, once we are done with you, it will be worth more than your degree. So forget the money. The money will be there, but forget it's not a job. What will give you in that 1 year will be more than the degree that you have earned. So that one I can guarantee you. It's a rigorous, but Savo is a hard place to work. You either love it and you're in heaven, or you hate it and you're in hell. There's no purgatory in Savo. Yeah, so we are a hardworking bunch. Yeah.
Leonard, somebody is
All right.
asking for your contact, so should we refer them to Sally?
I think Sally is there for follow-up questions. Sally is there. Our Fire Fridays are there. Why am I not giving my contact? I think I'll be more beneficial to you if I'm able to reach as many as possible. Yeah, but if you reach out to us, we will now call you on the side. I can even personally call you, and then we can talk. Yeah, but Sally's number is there. And Sam is there online. I think if you check the comments, he has left his either an email address. The number is there. The email address is there. The website is there. Our social media pages are also there. Yeah. But once you reach out to us and you have a question, then we will answer you. Any one of us, whether it's myself or Emily or Sally or Sam or whichever favorite gives you an answer, it will, chances are it will be the same answer across the board. So it doesn't have to be from me. Any one of us will give you a very the true answer. Yes.
Wow, amazing. I've really quite learned quite a great deal in this short span of time. Sam has posted his contacts, so for everyone who wants to reach Sam, just reach him on online at savo.ke. We've posted Sally's contacts right there. So reach out to her if you wish to become either an investor or to let or live in one of the homes or projects that the Savo team has done. So, or even if you wish to join them as part of their associates or employees. So thank you very much once again, Leonard, for your time and for sharing your wisdom. And also thanks to everyone who has taken the time to participate on this webinar series. I really appreciate your questions, your comments, and taking the time to be part of this. Um, so with that, we wish you all a goodbye. We'll have this recording on YouTube, and I actually see that the Savo team has also actually streamed this on YouTube, so you can get a recording where you can review some of the ideas that we shared to now be able to drill in further and get yourself on the journey to financial independence. Remember, Fire Fridays is on Fridays. If you wish to participate, just go to the YouTube channel for Savo, and you'll be able to subscribe when the session begins. Otherwise, with that, I wish you all a good night and thank you very much.
Thank you.